Here's a quick video of how I managed to get this Mercedes E300D. The ignition switch, the key was in the ignition, broken off, and the ignition would not turn. So I went ahead and drilled out the lock. You can see what's left of it now, and I can now just operate the car with a screwdriver or any key I want. It doesn't matter. Basically, the way I got it to work was I removed this little black piece of plastic here, took off this piece, although you can see where I got some cuts into it before I took it off. But if you go in there with a 4.5-inch cutoff wheel on a angle grinder, but you want to use the thin metal slicing cutoff wheels. They're less than a 1/16 of an inch thick. I'm going to go outside the car and show you the pieces that I cut out of the lock. So here's the bag. 1 second. Okay. Now we can see what I cut off to get into the lock there. After some of this noisy traffic goes away. So you've got, okay, this part is where the key went in. You can see the broken off key. This piece of metal covered that up, and I didn't really know what to cut. Doing it again, you wouldn't have to do all these crazy cuts. You basically, you want to get in and cut under that piece of metal. That's a ring of metal that holds this piece in. Once you get this off, this will come out, and then you'll see there's other metal in there, some of this stuff, and here's something. But you're going to start coming to these little, these are like the pin tumbler. Instead of a pin tumbler, it's a pin slide. And what you want to do is drill in a little bit to where you expose these one at a time and pull them out in one piece or maybe in little pieces. Fortunately, while I was drilling it out, the key here, this little key, actually got to where I could pull the key out of the tumbler. So I pulled the key out. Now, what's important is that while you're drilling, don't drill right down the center of where the key was, because you need that slot to turn the lock later. So I would angle, I use about a 3/8 inch drill. I would angle the drill on either, like to the side of that hole. I do one on one side, one on the other. Once you've got all that metal off, it's very easy to drill. You're dealing with soft metal, aluminum and brass. So just drill it kind of easy, and you'll just be able to keep pulling out those flat pieces of brass. That's what stops the cylinder from turning without the key. And then each time you get one out, see if you can turn the lock with a screwdriver. And when you get down to about the last one, I sort of forced it with a screwdriver, and at that point I could start the vehicle, because I still had enough of the mechanism retained that the internal guts were still operational, but the tumbler was no longer preventing the key, it from turning. So once again, here's all the stuff I cut out of it, and now the lock works. I can start the engine. The key will spring back like it should normally. So I just wanted you to see this in case it helps.